Are you thinking Imogen next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should change my like the let's say like the ways of doing this. Yeah, I may go into let's enjoy this. Okay, let's try to get something, get some more like more takeaway from this course and try to try to find this interest and try to enjoy like all the questions. Okay, so first one, yeah, just try. Okay, first one, application questions, and these questions are really interesting as they try to combine like the series with real world cases, and actually, I think I'm getting the clue how to answer these questions. So I hope you can also understand like the reasons behind. The first step is to connect the scenario with the series. For example, for question number one, if you go through, have you all gone through like the question? If you read through this, if you didn't, you take some time to do this now. And I think do you need some time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you need some time?
Sure. I mean, you can.
Okay. I will continue. Yeah, right. So for the question number one, what theory are we going to use? Are we going to apply here? Like the which diagram, which like part of the book, which topic? Any idea? Any thoughts? Yeah, say it out.
Cost optimization?
Yeah, exactly. Cost what?
Optimization.
Optimization, minimization. First I thought it's maximization. Cost minimization, right? For the cost minimization, we are going to use which two lines to get minimize the point. Yeah, ISO quant, you mentioned one, and the other one is what? Yeah. So which one is like the budget constraint? Which one is like the utility curve?
The budget constraint is the ISO cost.
This is the budget constraint, and this is the utility curve. So if you compare this to these two things, you can easily get the idea of how this graph looks like. So first, it should be a graph like this. That's how we minimize the cost, right? This is the cost optimal, like the optimal cost or the minimize the cost point here. And this will be the ISO quant. This will be the ISO cost. And now the question is, what are we going to put, to fill in the graph? Think of this way. I mean, for our Barker's question, I think this is what I just suddenly understand. Maybe if he wants you to do this, he wants you to first draw the graph, to use a theory, to pick a theory, and then you apply, the scenario into this. So for this, what are we going to put on the x, and what are we going to put on the y? So first, this should be something in units, right? It should be something in units because it's an ISO quant and an ISO cost curve, and what is x and what is y? Maybe, what are the two groups?
Like the middle-aged people and the old people?
Yeah, right, the middle-aged and the old people. And which one do you want to, do you want to put on the senior? I call it the senior, the middle-aged and the senior, and x.
Whichever one's changing goes on the x.
Yeah, right. Which one is changing?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, okay. So from from all the context, actually they're telling you one fact, that the middle-aged graders are more likely to receive assistance. And now we are putting the cost of the assistance to the producer side, to the Walmart side. Mm-hmm. So the Walmart is bearing more for middle-aged people, right? So the cost for this one is changing. The middle-aged people, the cost for this group is changing. So we put this on the x and we put this on the y. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to do a little bit of adjustment to the ISO quant curve. Since they give you information about the middle-aged graders, maybe senior or maybe middle-aged, and these two are substitutes, but not perfect substitutes. What does that mean? If it is a perfect substitute, which one will change?
going to be a corner solution if it's a perfect
It will be
substitute.
a corner solution, and I mean, which line, like which curve are we going to change if it's a substitute? We have to change this graph, right?
ISO cost.
The as a
cost only.
cost. This what?
Yeah, because the production function doesn't change.
Oh, actually, I think it's like the isoquant. That's what we're going to do here. The isoquant is going to change. Since you remember, perfect substitute is like we go back to here. Perfect substitute is associated with which part? With this part or this part? Perfect substitute. This part, right? Yeah, like the utility curve. Remember, the utility curve can go either like this way, this is a perfect substitute, or this way, it's a perfect complement, and decreasing marginal utility and increasing marginal utility. The four types of like the indifferent curves. So here we are going to change the isoquant. We have to change it into a flatter way, yeah, because we have to make it look like the perfect substitute. So it's going to look like this. This is a substitute but not perfect, right? And why is flatter instead of steeper? Think of that. Why is flatter instead of steeper?
Elasticity.
Return to scale.
Maybe it look like the most like the extreme point. This point and this point. Compare these 2 points, and what can we get from this? This point and this point. If we use all middle-aged workers, we have to use a lot to produce the same quantity. But if we use the senior group, we use like this amount, that's enough, which means the senior group are more productive in producing gratings. Gratings.
How did you come to the? I haven't read the Stop Bezos Act, but
Oh yeah, stop Bezos there. Okay. Yeah, let's go to this point first. But you have to read, okay?
yeah,
Sure, you read it.
If you could just give me a gist of it, so that this becomes
Yeah, right. So if you go through like the readings, it will tell you one fact that the Walmart is going to bear the cost of the government assistance. Like the government is before the government is giving out stamps, and now now the Walmart has to pay for the stamps themselves. The Walmart
pay for the
after
after the
after like the stop Bezos. After the stop Bezos. Is that okay? After Bezos, the Walmart has to bear this cost. So the cost increase. The cost for middle-aged increase because the government, like the assistance mainly is given to the middle-aged group.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll write down.
So it's because of this time, right? That the middle-aged readers are more likely to receive government assistance because they are more likely to have dependent children.
Right. So stop Bezos.
So that's why you're doing that, right?
Right. If we read through this, you'll get one information that the Walmart pay for government assistance. Yeah, that's what's like the Walmart, this tipping point. What happened to the stop Bezos? The Walmart is paying for like the government assistance. So the government assistance is mainly given to the middle-aged workers, which means the cost for middle-aged workers for Walmart is going to increase. Okay, but we haven't gone to that point yet. Actually, we're still doing the graph. As we haven't changed anything, right? We haven't changed the actual cost. Now we are analyzing why the isoquant curve looks like this. Because it's a substitute, even though not perfect, but it's a substitute between the middle-aged and the senior-aged group. And then we know that the senior-aged group is more productive in producing gratings. They are more productive in producing gratings. So that's why it's not like this. Right? It's not look like this. This is shape 1, this is shape 2, and shape 2 is right. Does that make sense?
It's mentioned. Where is it mentioned? Is it mentioned in the article that they are more productive?
I think that's a
Or is it just because they'll have to give government assistance, that's why they'll move the production function up, and we'll say that the seniors would be, more senior greeters would be replaced?
I mean, for this part, I will say it's more like a common sense. It's in producing greetings, you know, the senior people, they are more,
Okay.
yeah, how to say, they're more
Friendly.
sophisticated or friendly, yeah, something. Yeah, friendly. Friendly is
Easier to like.
easier to, yeah, exactly. So that's why they are more productive, and you can hire, like the Walmart, consider if you are the Walmart, if you were the Walmart, like the manager, will you hire like the senior or you prefer like the middle age? Maybe the senior group as a graders, who would prefer to hire like the senior group. And here is a kind of like the controversial, you know, but because professor loves these questions, the controversial questions. So yeah, just keep to the senior.
And what will happen to the total cost of production? Will it, so the shape has changed, but the cost, the
Oh
production.
yeah. Let's come to this part. So first, if we got increase in this price, then we will change this line, shift this line this way or this way, leftward or rightward. If we got an increase in the price of this,
It goes leftward.
it goes leftward, right? So this is the new ISO cost. Okay, this is the new ISO cost, and you choose a point here. Maybe it's here, right? Yeah, maybe it's here. And what can we tell about like the middle-aged group workers? Well, hiring more or hiring less?
You substitute away from them
Yeah. We substitute with what?
with the older workers.
Yeah, right. We substitute them with old workers, right? But because that's only about like the substitution effect. Because the income effect, since the salary increase and you have to maintain the same cost, so you have to hire less both workers. Does that make sense? It's like the kind of income effect. Because the wage, like the price increase, you can buy less, which means you're hiring maybe less. We cannot surely tell about like senior, but we can tell about the middle age. Like the middle age group, we are going to hire less.
So the ISO cost, did you move it in or out?
Move in
Move it in.
this way. This way. Yeah. And also one question remain unanswered is what happened to the total cost of production? So the total cost, as you can imagine, will goes up, right? The total cost for production, because salary goes up and total cost will goes up. This is a little bit tricky, as we are still, if we are choosing our optimal like the optimal bundle, well, we assume we are still having like the same cost, we are still having the same budget. But what does that mean? The total cost increase. It's like your feelings about the cost. Your feeling about the cost increase. That's what I think the professor is asking.
But if you're hiring less middle age, our ISO
So hiring less.
yeah. So if our ISO cost curve has gone leftward, and then our production function is tangent to the ISO quant curve at a lower level, right? So
there's no production function on this one. This is ISO quant and ISO cost.
okay.
Yeah, so ISO quant. Remember, the production function is like how to say? The production function is more like the.
It's got nothing to do with production.
So what does the new isoquant curve look like? Because I thought that if an isoquant curve is closer to the origin, then the total cost is less.
Yeah.
Sorry, the ISO quant what?
When an isoquant curve, as you get further away from the origin, the total cost is going up. So if the new isoquant curve is close to the origin, shouldn't total cost be lower?
Oh no, you got two ideas on this. The ISO quant curve. Yeah, let's review this. The ISO quant means like the production, like the quantity of production. And the ISO cost curve reflects that's your cost or your budget.
Okay, so then that graph would reflect that you're producing less for more money?
Which one? You mean this leftward, right?
Yeah.
This leftward does not, since even though it's shifting, it's shifting from here to here, but that's not means you have less money, because if this is a budget constraint, we still compare. If this is a budget constraint, we shift the price of one good decrease or increase. Does that mean we have less budget? If we think of this point, we can still got all these goods at this price, right? So our budget doesn't change. It's the same here. So our cost doesn't change. But our utility level here is like the production. With the same cost, you can produce less. With the same cost, you can produce less. It's just always try to compare with the budget constraint and the utility curve. Here it's like with this budget, we can enjoy less utility. Here with the same cost, we can produce less. That's what it means.
When it says that what will happen to the total cost of production, so it means that it's going higher because for the same cost,
actually,
you're
I
getting
think
less.
the question should be refined, should be modified like this. If think about the total cost if we want to produce the same thing, the same amount.
Yeah. No.
Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If we want to produce the same amount, think of the total cost. If we want to produce the same amount, means we want to reach this level, right? We want still to reach this level. We have to move this budget constraint. We have to move this, the ISO cost. This is a budget constraint. Move this out to be tangent to here.
Yeah.
So is the isoquant technically touching the move the cost line? Like how, I guess I'm wondering how we're deciding on what the optimal new bundle is, given if the isoquant isn't touching the new line. Does that not matter?
Actually, all your questions can be first moved back to the budget constraint and utility curve. If this is let's draw the graph again. This is budget constraint and this is your utility curve. This is your optimal bundle, okay? And now the price of this, maybe this is X, this is Y. The price of X increased.
Right. So
Shift this, and how will you find your optimal bundle?
You graph the utility curve.
You got the new utility curve. That's what happened here. We got a new ISO quant curve. Does that make sense? We got a new ISO quant curve. It's the same. Everything's the same actually. So it's just replacing the idea.
The quantity production is reduced, right?
The quantity of production.
Yeah.
It's like the utility reduced.
Yeah.
Exactly. The quantity of production, the amount you can produce, you can produce, reduced.
How does the cost increase though?
The cost increase because the question should be set like this. If we want to reach the original utility level, if we want to reach the original production, like the production level, will the cost be higher or lower? If we want to reach the original utility level, we have to increase our budget.
Yeah.
Right now, if we want to reach the original production level, we have to increase our cost. Yeah, that's why the cost is increased. And that's why the question.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
Yeah, right. Now everything makes sense, right? Like the budget constraint and the utility curve.
I think I'm gonna do it by myself and then come back next week or watch his video.
Yeah. You should relax. Just try to.
Yeah, you're gonna upload it, right?
Got some rest.
You're gonna upload this, right?
Yeah, I'm going to upload this. No worries. So we got something to refer to.
We know.
Yeah.
But you cannot all leave, that's negative externality. If you all leave, I cannot make it. Yeah, that happened once, when I was teaching like the Quant 2 last semester, and I emailed everyone. I said, I'm going to make a video today, and if you can come, just feel free to do your own things. And then no one come, and I really can't talk to myself. I don't know what the question is. So yeah, I didn't make that video that day. And then I always say at least one person will come. One student will always come to make sure we have the video. Okay, so here like the ISO quant, ISO cost is quite tricky, and remember this part. Yeah, see you.
Yeah,
thank you. Oh, I hate like the white of this. Yeah, the ISO quant. This is the really core part. The ISO cost is a budget constraint. It's like the cost and budget constraint. ISO quant is a utility curve. And if you can match, if you can understand this clearly, you can understand what happened here. And for this question, we put it together as when the price of the middle-aged worker increase, when the price increase, it's like what happened to this graph. First, the budget constraint, the ISO cost will shift leftward. And then we have to choose a new point, new optimal point. And at this point, we have to hire less middle-aged workers. Like the new point here, B, compare B to A, we are going to consume less eggs. Here we are going to hire less middle-aged workers. For the senior group, the professor said in the answer key, the senior group is going to increase. The number of senior people working people will increase, but I don't agree with that part. So I think because we
it's ambiguous.
Yeah, it's ambiguous. From here to here, how can you tell it's increasing? And so I think you can just mention that it's decreasing middle-aged group. That's enough, and that will get you the points.
Just one note. So it does. So before, while we are making this, the diagram of isoquant curves and isocost curves, it says that before the stock reserves are, middle-aged readers are more likely to receive government assistance. So would the isoquant curve be downwards initially?
Isoquant be downward.
Like, would we want more of middle age in general?
No, because it's Walmart's, right? So if they're receiving government assistance, it means less maintenance of.
Okay, I see what you are talking about. You are talking about at the original point, right?
At the original point.
At the original point, maybe I can say maybe, but we don't have enough information on the original. So just to do like the comparison, do in a comparative way.
Okay, so it.
What you're talking makes sense. Maybe we want to hire maybe want to choose this one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but we don't have enough information.
Okay.
Yeah, right. We don't have enough information on that. But what we can infer is after that we are going to hiring less, right? We are going to hiring less middle-aged because the price increase.
Yeah.
Why the price increase? You have to read the article.
Yeah,
you really have to read the article. Yeah, right. So yeah, great point. I mean, for that's from the very beginning to the very end.
Yeah.
But we start from the half. We start from the half. Okay, let's move to B. No-fly zone over Syria. Yeah, interesting topics. And here it's this time I feel a little bit happy because at least these two questions are on the same topic. You see, maybe it's a little bit suffering for you, but it's a real chance for you to practice. Still like the isoquant and the isocost. So we can stick to this topic. And now let's see. What information are given? I mean, you pick. I will let you pick. You can you tell me what information you think is the most important one?
The inputs are we know we're doing another
Cost
cost minimization.
Yeah.
The inputs are capital and labor.
Okay. Yeah. And you got that information. That's important. I agree. And maybe Harsh, can you do another one? Can you pick another one? Now we know. Sorry, I should. It's B. First is understanding the question. And what we got is we got the cost minimization, and we got input as labor and capital. And what's your point, Harsh? Like the second important, or maybe another important message you got from this?
The inputs are there, and then measure the output, the quantity of trip.
We're dealing with substitution again.
Oh, really?
No, because it says measure the output. What do you mean by the output here? Like if I were to draw a diagram with the.
I mean that's not an important information. So.
So if there are restrictions, there would be a drop in the output, right?
Dropping the.
So measure that diagram the cost minimization problem and show the impact of Syrian airspace flight restrictions. I haven't read the article, but if you're putting restrictions.
You're putting restrictions. What happened?
So then the quantity of trips would reduce, right?
The quantities will reduce, right?
Yes,
exactly.
So that is the output.
Which means you have to move your isoquant.
Yes.
Isoquant curves.
Okay. So
Yeah, or maybe we are ISO cost curves. But one information, because we have to know the shape of the ISO quant. Like the ISO cost is quite easy, and the budget constraint is always easy. The budget constraint is the easy one, right? The ISO cost is like this. We put like the L this on this side, we put C on this side, and this is the ISO cost. But what does like the ISO quant? What does the ISO quant all the different curves looks like here? What's the shape of it? Do we have enough information? Do we have some information? At least some information.
Degree of substitutionality between the two inputs.
Yeah, like consider a degree of substitutability. Yeah. So now that's something we have to think of. Capital and labor. Can you substitute one with each other?
Well, it says that you only use one with the other.
Yeah.
So if you're not using fuel, you're not using crew, and vice versa.
It's like a complement.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he wants you to get. And yeah, right. I mean, that's maybe what you can practice and try to do better in the next exam. Just read through like the paragraphs and infer any information you can get from this. And now we got something is maybe it's not perfect, but at least it's something like the complements. This is the curve like of the perfect complements, right? Remember the shoes. This will be the perfect complement. PC. So this is perfect complements isoquants. And now, before we are at this point, right? So what happens when there's like the restrictions?
If there are restrictions, the output would reduce.
The output will reduce. So before, this is like if we consider this as two flights, and now this is one.
Yeah. So
That makes
will
sense.
we have a new isoquant curve?
We can have, but since we are not changing the ISO cost, we are having
Because if
bump
the flights
value.
reduce, the ISO,
Yeah, but the ISO the shape won't change, right?
the shape won't change, but won't the cost reduce?
Yeah, do we shift it inward?
Yeah, exactly. So think of this: if the shape didn't change, and the ISO quants are infinite, we have infinite ISO quants on this graph, so we don't have to draw a new one. That's what I want to do. Yeah. Actually, what you are talking about is draw a new one like this.
Yeah.
You move this to here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also yeah. Sorry for my stubborn. Okay, we can do this exactly.
Yeah,
This
you
is
meant the
acceptable.
same thing, right? It's just
Yeah, it's the
that-
same thing, exactly the same thing as replacing the number.
Yeah.
What I thought is we can directly replace the number, right? But moving this line is actually more direct and more straightforward. So yeah, this is good. This is good.
Because the input should also change accordingly.
Yeah, right. So the isoquant change from here, and this line goes from here. So the at your cost minimization point, you will produce less, right? You will produce less because you will get a.
So the innermost would be your isoquant.
Yeah, I think it
curve.
should be like this way.
Uh,
Yeah, because this line actually resembles less production. That makes sense. This is U0. Sorry, U. Like this is a production 0, and this is production 1, and this is production 2. And now you are replacing P1 by P0. And P0 is moving out.
And we're not moving any cost curves?
We're not moving any cost curves. The cost doesn't change.
oh,
Yeah, well, the budget is for here. The budget, because we still got that money. The only thing happens is we can produce less, so because of the restriction. It's a directly shift to the ISO cost curve.
I wanted to know if say the output has reduced, instead of 2 flights you are having 1 flight, so you would be spending less on fuel, you will be paying your crew less, or probably you will be paying the crew same, but you will be still spending less on the airplane and the fuel.
Oh yeah, I think I got your point. But here we can only discuss like the production if holding cost constant.
Okay.
Right, holding cost constant, we can compare the production. Holding production constant, we can think of the cost. We cannot discuss them together. Then it's like this. It's like holding your budget constraint constant. At this budget constraint, will you be better off or worse off? It does not. We usually don't discuss will you got more money and will you better off or worse off.
Okay.
Right? We usually hold one thing constant, and now we are holding like the cost constant. If the cost is constant, will we be able to produce more or less? Think of this way. If the cost is constant, if we still have that resources, that money and labor, can we produce more or less? We can produce less because of the restrictions. We're not allowed to fly that many. That's a really straightforward logic behind this. And why is that? If you show on the graph, it's because all the isoquant curve are moving outward, away from the origin. They are moving away from the origin. So all the isoquants are, the new maximized point will be producing less flights.
Does that mean that your labor and your capital are both decreasing?
Your labor and your actually, because the shape didn't change. First, the shape of the isoquant didn't change, and then we assume your isoquant cost didn't change. Then the point you choose won't change. You are still like using this labor and this. You are still using this labor and this capital, but producing less.
So when we talk about when he asks what happens to the optimal mixture of capital and labor, we're just saying it stays the same.
I think it's the same. Let me see. Did he ask that question? You already didn't answer his own question.
I feel like your fuel consumption would increase though, right? Because if you have these restrictions on like where you can't fly, you gotta fly further.
But I feel like you would consume.
Oh
less
yeah.
fuel.
Oh, here it's like the I see.
Fuel?
Yeah, if you can't fly that way anyway,
Oh.
so then you'd
Is
consume
that
less
the
fuel,
article
and by
saying?
effect, less.
Is the article saying that you just can't go places now?
It's restricted area. Yeah, you can't go there.
But if you still get to where you're going, just fly around the area.
I mean, the optimal will not change from the answer key. I have to say. Yeah, will
So
not change.
up the optimum point.
Will not change. It's like we're assuming we're still using that cost, and if this makes you more comfortable, you can think of this like the cost, a fixed cost. One flight will cost you all the aircraft. Like the aircraft is the fixed cost, right? And the fuel is only a variable cost, and the variable cost is too small to be considered.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's a way if you want to accept. And from the graph, it's because the lines are not changing, and you're still getting the same point as before. You're still getting the same point as before. Yeah, I mean your point is great. I really want to agree with that. Because it's restricted area, why we spend money on that? We just cut the line, and that makes sense. Yeah, but for those who are watching the video, just focus. Just stick to the unchanged answer. Okay, these two are applications of the isoquant and the isocost. You see, it's quite the same like the budget constraint and utility curve. And the only difference is before we are making decisions on our own consumption, and now we have decisions on production. Actually, production is also like a kind of a consumption, right? Before you are trading your budget for utility, and now you are trading your cost or your budget for production. You are making goods, and selling the goods will be another story. Now you are just thinking of how many the goods you can produce with a minimized cost. Okay, so and that's why these two graphs can be comparable, and they are quite the same. Question 2. In the previous question, why don't they simply raise the prices? Raise prices. A rhetorical question, you don't have to answer. Okay. Okay, let's go to the first. Airline customers are described as extremely price sensitive. Do you agree? Do you agree?
Price sensitive, yes, because elasticity.
Yes. Yeah.
Also price elasticity.
Maybe for me, if the price of one airplane increase, I won't take that airplane. I will choose another one, right? So what does this say about the degree of competition in the airline business? Yeah, right. That's a really good application. What does it say? It's high. Yeah, right. Do you agree? I agree. It's high, right?
Yeah.
Because there is high competition, so we can choose another. If it's very low, or maybe monopoly, even monopoly like the. Let me see what is monopoly. Like the
only one line.
yeah, only one line, like the iPhone, right? the iPhone is kind of monopoly. It's like the it's a word start with an O. Or I forget. It's a few monopoly.
oligopoly.
Yeah, oligopoly. I think. Yeah, right. That word. So, right. Like the health. Yeah. It's not monopoly. It's perfect high, maybe high level of competition. And the article gives at least 3 different strategies as responses to the increase of fuel price. And we got three responses. Three strategies. How would we represent each of this in a model? Yeah, that's something. Actually, you have to come up with a model to explain this. For each strategy, think of which model this fits in. Okay, maybe like what we have now, all the models. If we review, we have the supply and demand model, right? The supply and demand, like also the price equilibrium model. We have the consumer choice model, like the budget constraint analytic curve, and we have the ISO quant and ISO cost curve model, right? 3 models, and now we have to fit each one into each of them. Yeah, that's how we answer these questions. First one, make sure that our non-fuel cost behave correctly. So yeah, if we want to make sure our cost behave correctly, so which model does that fit in?
Consumer choice.
Yeah, maybe it's called cost minimization. Right?
Oh.
Yeah, because we want to make sure the cost is still behave. We want to minimize the cost. Is that okay?
It's not coming to me directly.
Actually, those 2 models are not that different, but here is more likely. It's more likely to be the cost.
And you would use all other goods on one axis and then just.
And
maybe
fuel on the other
maybe I'm
side.
completely wrong. I don't know.
I can't think of.
Like the fuel, it's the fuel cost. This is the fuel, and this is all other like the production components. If this is the model, this is the fuel, and this is all the other production components. And before, this is the ISO cost, this is the ISO quant, and now because the fuel price increase, right? The fuel price increase, so we shift this upward and we choose a new point. That's this model. Like that's a model can help you make decisions. You are making decisions and you are choosing to using these 2, like this amount and this amount of production components, production resources to produce here to maintain at the same cost. You can choose a different strategy. Maybe we want to keep our production level, and then you have to increase your cost. You have to spend more money. So that's the first A. Since it in the question it asks you about make sure the non-fuel cost. This one behave correctly. This part behave correctly. These are all non-fuel costs.
So So the thing is, the first question is answered. How do we represent each of these changes? So this is a change in case fuel increases. And then it says that is the strategy consistent with the mechanics of the model? The next one.
Should we just say what model we're using, or do we have to draw it out too?
I think we might need to.
Actually,
How do we represent? Is the strategy consistent with the mechanics of the model?
Yes.
Like, why did you put that?
Yeah, I have no idea what it's about. Identifying the model is, that's quite enough, at least for me.
And this time you are checking our problem sets, right?
Yeah, I'm checking yours, so don't worry.
Good.
Transition to newer, more fuel efficient.
You can just email Professor what he wants to convey in this question. Yeah, right. Because he's not replying to mine. you should email him and ask what it's about. Yeah, he's quite busy as he's busy making up these problem sets. That's a funny story. Question B, number B, transitions to newer, more fuel-efficient aircraft.
I think it would remain the same.
You use the supply and demand model. Supply shifts right, because cost of inputs goes down.
No, because even if it's cost minimization, and if they move to
I think it's from the other key. It's still like the two input model. We still got like the fuel, and here we replace all other production with like the fuel efficient aircraft with the aircraft on this side and fuel still on this side. Yeah, maybe I'm a little bit I'm wrong on the like the budget constraint model because that should not be applied here since we are producing things. We are producing goods. We are not consuming things. That's why we should always use like the production model instead of the budget constraint model, as those two are quite similar, right? Using one cannot means you cannot use another, and we should use this one in our production decision, and for making consumption decision, we can use the other. Yeah, that's the budget constraint. Here is still the same, this model. It's a two input model.
in this case, it would be like the old ISO cost curve, right? Because if you have a fuel efficient aircraft, so if there is a increase in price, since you have a fuel efficient aircraft, you can actually like sort of trade off the losses.
So what do you mean by fuel efficient aircraft? Will that be associated with the price or the quantity or what do you want to say?
So if you have a fuel efficient aircraft, then say if you're using 100 gallons of fuel earlier in the old aircraft, with the fuel efficient one, you can use 80 gallons.
You can use 80 gallons.
And if there is a decrease in price, if there is an increase in the price of fuel.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, but think about the cost of changing the aircraft.
Okay, that.
Right, you have to think of like you have to pay something for the aircraft, right?
Yeah.
If you are replacing it, that will be a really huge amount of.
So then it would be that.
Just that same thing?
No, not the same thing. If we have fuel.
Yeah, I think maybe what happened here is like the price of the fuel will goes down, because the aircraft is more efficient. Relative prices maybe still the same. Yeah, and now what happened is the price for the aircraft will increase. The price for the aircraft will increase, so we can
have it on the x-axis.
I mean, I think he raised a really good point here. If we compare this question to the question in problem set 3, you remember like the insulation and the insulation, what's that called? Insulation and electricity.
Yeah.
If we think of fuel as the electricity, and aircraft as the insulation, right? So now means we are getting more insulation to counter the increase of the electricity price. Yeah, it's like this. I really don't know how to draw the graph. I don't got a graph. I have to tell you, I don't got a graph on the answer key. So yeah, so I can't infer like what the graph looks like, but it's the model should quite like that one. And that is a consumption model, but here we still get the ISO cost and ISO quant model to compare to that one. So I think you can answer, maybe we'll still use this model, and this strategy works, right? It will work, and we are consuming like the more insulation. We are putting more money on the aircraft, fuel efficient aircraft, and that can be a strategy. Yeah, I think that's all I have. That's all I got. Yeah, I don't got any more. So C, the best lever we have to pull this. The best lever we have to pull is to drop capacity a little bit, and we have fires naturally change supply and demand balance. So that's very obvious which model we are going to use.
Explain that.
Yeah, so supply and demand. What this guy is talking about, do you get any idea what he's talking about? If you think of you as a manager.
So there is a drop in capacity.
Yeah, by dropping capacity, what does it mean?
It's like you're
Supply.
getting fewer flights.
Supply is less.
Sorry?
I think it's fewer flights.
Yes, fewer flights. If we
Output
get
is less.
if produce less flights, and maybe the price will goes up, as the demand and supply model told us, right?
Yeah.
But will that work or not? I think I can answer. Will that work or not?
If there are fewer flights, then the quantity supplied would be less, the price would increase.
Yeah.
It won't work because
if
of
the
the
price would increase, then people would actually, since it's a very competitive field, people won't
Exactly.
want to.
elasticity.
But
So it's
you have to discuss here, since even though the aircraft, like the airline market is quite competitive, but we don't know like this single airline, like from where to where, I don't know, I forget, from Doha and for maybe I mean like the passes this airline is marketing, maybe that's not competitive, right? Maybe that's monopoly. His monopoly in like the some Air China, United Airlines, and Delta. I think these three airlines are monopolying the airlines between China and America. I only know these three. As all the others are quite few. So yeah, if they are monopolying like this airline, then this decision may work. But we don't know. Right? We don't know if it's competitive, as you said, then it will not work. It does not work. Okay. So that's question number 2, application question. So question 3, entry and exit, Uber again. We will consider the market for Uber rides as perfectly competitive market. So we have a perfectly competitive market. And where drivers are suppliers and riders are consumers. Uber plays a role of a market maker. Uber has the power to control price and does so with the objective of clearing the market. It does not control the entry and the exit of suppliers. So question A: most markets do not have a central actor setting prices, but prices still move towards the market clearing prices. How are the prices set in typical competitive market? So first, can I think of maybe a scenario where we have a central actor setting prices?
Is this like invisible hand right now?
Yeah, it's like the answer to this one is in the hand. But I mean, for first, I want you to think of like where we have like a central actor setting prices. Since I have no idea what this is. Yeah, because I'm asking since I really don't know.
Like the Soviet Union.
The Soviet Union?
Yeah. Well, or like I think a monopoly.
A monopoly?
Yeah.
Most markets do not have. So this maybe the first sentence can be paraphrased to most markets are not competitive markets.
It's just
Right.
having a central actor setting prices means it's not free market.
It's not free market.
Yeah.
Okay, then I got it. Yeah, right. Since at first when I was reading, I was thinking of like a stock market. We have a dashboard and the price, but yeah, okay. So most markets are not like free market, but prices still move towards the market clearing price. Yeah. Wow. How are prices set in typical competitive markets? So this does not make sense. I mean,
It says most markets do not have, so they are free market. It says
So
most
they are
markets
free
are.
market. Right?
Yeah.
do not have.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, makes sense. It's like the GRE rating. Yeah, right. Okay. So how are the prices set in a typical competitive market? Oh, great. I'm going to remember this question. It's really like GRE rating. Any ideas? Any thoughts? How the invisible hand? That's a very like the summary answer. How can you explain like the mechanics of this market? Yeah, this if you do like some macroeconomics, this will also happen to like the aggregate demand and aggregate supply. How can you decide like the total? If this is the GDP Y and this is the this is the planned expenditure. But how much are we planning to consume? And this is like the expenditure. So there's a 1-to-1 line. This is like the 45 degree, This means 1 to 1, and this is not a real line. The real expenditure will be like this. As we have one more. Sorry, this is not expenditure. This is income. Or maybe, yeah, output or income. That's the Y. So we produce one more goods. We are consuming not all of them. We are still saving some of them. Does that make sense? We consume, if we produce one unit, we are not consuming all of them. So that's why the planned expenditure, we are not planning to consume all of them. Planned expenditure go like this. This is the planned expenditure curve. And this is a 45 degree to help us, to tell us when they are equal. And this will decide how much we are going to produce. That's a macroeconomics.
Can you give an example?
Like
like income is, are you talking about consolidated income of a country on a macro level, or is it like an individual income?
It's a aggregate income. It's
Aggregate,
a total, yeah,
like
total,
per
like the
capita.
GDP, like the total GDP.
Okay. Per capita income or the GDP?
The total GDP.
Okay, so
Yeah, the total
that is
GDP.
the total GDP and planned expenditure.
Planned expenditure is how much you plan to expend to consume.
Is this part of our answer, or is this something you're just
It's
giving?
something I'm just discussing. Yeah, don't worry. Something I'm discussing. Yeah, since I find this, like the way the way of thinking to this question is quite the same to that one. So finally, we're actually going to choose this point. That's what the graph tells you, right? This point looks like the right point. But why we are going to choose this point? Why, like the country are going to produce to make this income, to make this like the amount of output, GDP or another way. So
It's kind of what both parties agree using their own best self-interest just by their actions.
by their actions,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what's best for both of them, so that they can meet in the middle.
they can meet in the middle. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's a way of thinking. It's like think of this. If the country produce this amount, if the country produce this amount, then the real expenditure. This line is the real expenditure, right? The real output is lower than the planned expenditure, right?
What do you mean by planned expenditure in
We
general?
want to how much you plan to consume. For example, if you are the country, and you are deciding how much you want to produce, like the 1 bread, 2 bread, or 4 bread, okay. But here you are planning to consume, you are planning to eat 4 bread, but you can only produce 3 bread,
Okay.
so you will keep producing, right? You will keep producing. You move this way, and if you are here, which means you are producing more. You are producing 4 bread, but you only want to consume 3 bread. Means you got inventory. You got inventory. So next year you
that
will.
is real expenditure. Real expenditure is more than the planned expenditure. So
Yeah,
you
the real-
produce more than what was. You produce more from what you actually intended to produce.
Yeah, you want to make consume. You produce more than you want to consume. Then you want to consume. Then the next year you find you still got a bread. Next year you will reduce your production. Which gives us a final point here. So that's and if we think of this here, in a free market, why we are choosing these points, right? Because if on this side, we got more demand than supply. So like the producers, they find they can still earn profit, so they will produce, and then the consumers will buy, right? So we are moving to this side. On this side, if like the suppliers, they find like the suppliers, there are more goods than
demand.
than demand. So no, this is the price.
This is price.
Yeah, the price. Like the price
The
producers
quantity
are
is the same.
they are
So
producing.
if they're charging more than what is being, like what the market is demanding,
So they
then
will
they
not. Yeah, they will stop producing. They will
Yes.
stop producing, and then this will finally drive the
Hmm.
pull the market to the equilibrium point, and that's like the invisible hand, like the mechanism of the invisible hand. It's like this way of thinking is great. So why this is the equilibrium? Because if you are on this side, you will move towards this.
Mhm.
If
So
on
we
this
can
side, you will move towards this. Yeah, and this is how we decide the GDP.
How is this question related to the chapter?
Maybe it's chapter 1. It should be given in chapter 1. It's a supply and demand. Question B. Okay, the experts from the article. Notably, the company also announced that it would fix its troubled relationship with drivers who have complained for years about falling pay and arbitrary treatment. So, the question is explain the market dynamics that has led to falling pay for drivers over the past years.
Competition.
Supply shifts right. Both number of drivers has probably gone up, and the like you said, new sellers enter the market, like Lyft, the scooters now, and everything like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's the answer.
So is it the supply?
Drivers have entered. Like the drivers, they are entering into the market. If there are more supply, let's say if there are more supply, they're expecting higher price, but they can. I mean, the market price is not that high.
So we aren't supposed to talk about the supply shock.
There's no shock here.
Because it's cost curve is reducing, right? The willingness to pay has reduced because there's so much competition, and so has the cost curve.
I
It's
feel
like
like
this.
demand would shift left and supply would shift right.
Maybe, but I will try to explain my way. Okay, if you can, I will try to explain my way. So the price decrease, right? So before the price is at this high, at maybe P star, which is higher than the P.
Oh, because we're talking about the labor market.
Oh yeah, right. Is that about the
we're
labor?
not talking
Yeah,
about
this is
general.
about labor market.
Okay.
So what do you mean by demand in the labor market? Demanded by who?
Demand is Uber, and supply is Uber drivers.
Yeah, so demand is a Uber, and supply is a Uber driver. So the price before is here. The price is this high, and we only have this amount of Uber. We are here actually. That's where we are. We are at point A. Like there are only this amount of Uber drivers in the market. So they find it's quite okay, and the price is higher. They don't know the price is higher than the equilibrium, but they find it's a quite acceptable price, and they are earning this amount. They're getting like all this as consumers, like a producer surpluses. Does that make sense? So this happens when the market is not at equilibrium, and now we are moving towards equilibrium. What does that mean? That means more drivers find it's profitable, and more drivers start to enter into the market. But when they are entering into the market, they are moving. Actually, they are driving the price, like they are moving the quantity, right? They are producing more, and they are moving this to here to the equilibrium point. And when we are producing at this quantity, we got a lower price, but we got more drivers. So that's what happened to the market.
Can you again explain me the first part?
Yeah, the first part is before the market is not at equilibrium.
Okay.
There's a shortage of the Uber drivers.
Mm-hmm.
So they find it profitable, and they find that like the price is quite high, and they can still earn a profit.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a profit, right?
Yeah.
They are receiving money higher. They are receiving the price higher than their cost.
Okay.
But when more drivers enter into the market, and their cost raise their cost. Since fewer people, they want to. They find fewer riders. They find fewer riders, and so moves this towards this, and then the final market ends at equilibrium, which means we have a lower price, and we have a more supply.
But we're not shifting.
Higher quantity, higher riders, higher number of riders, right?
There's more drivers. Each driver will wait longer between rides.
More drivers, it's shifting.
Increasing supply.
Yeah, it's like
And if you shift supply to the right anyway, your price goes down.
Shift the supply.
If you shift supply to the right, the equilibrium price decreases, but I guess
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, right.
So the equilibrium point
Yeah,
would
yeah.
shift, right? The quantity would increase.
Yeah, I was
and then-
so immersed in my thought, and I agree with your point. And this can be a better explanation. If you are shifting this towards this, you're getting you're getting a lower price, right?
so. Can we just put either one of those, or
Yeah, this one, definitely this one. Yeah, I mean, this is just
So,
it's just too complicated?
so does this mean that the demand that Uber is making is constant over time? Because we are not changing the demand curve at all.
Yeah, it's like so maybe the willingness to pay doesn't change, but the cost increase, right? Willingness to pay. The demand curve is a willingness to pay curve.
So
And-
yeah, so it says right, Uber hasn't changed the percentage of revenue that they take.
Percentage revenue.
They are not changing the percentage revenue, so the willingness to pay.
Oh, for here, if we are discussing this graph, it's not a labor market graph. It's the riders and the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the consumer will be the riders
Okay.
and will be the drivers. Sorry for my misleading graph and explanation. Yeah, stick to this model, and you have drivers, you have riders, and you got an increase in supply and you got a decrease in you got an increase in supply.
I'm already tired. Because we'll be having another session with you right before the submission.
Oh yeah, I think you have. What's the due date like that?
Monday.
Next Monday. Okay, then you do have it.
Yeah.
You do have a next session. Question C. This passage explains that drivers are barely acting out account profit. What does that imply about the driver's economic profit? So this question is more straightforward. So question C, we are talking about account profit. And economic profit.
I think we did something like this today, right?
So what's the difference between these two? Account profit,
Accounting profit was monetary.
monetary profit.
Monetary profit is.
Yeah, if on the balance sheet, I mean, on the income statement, if you're earning money, you're having a profit, you're profitable, right? You are making money. But economic profit, what's the difference between this one?
Opportunity cost.
Yeah, you have to take opportunity cost into consideration. You do not only care about the variable cost, like the cost of the ingredients you spend on making a pizza. You think of the time, like the other things you are not doing for that, right? So this one should be greater or smaller, economic cost. Economic profit.
Smaller.
Smaller will be smaller compared to accounting cost, accounting profit. Which means if by accounting profit you are earning money, maybe you are still not profitable, using the idea of economic profit.
Because
Economic profit is opportunity cost.
Yeah,
Because
after
it
the
takes,
cost.
yeah, because it takes opportunity costs. And
So if you have got a lot of accounting profit, it means
Because to the
profit
accounting profit subject to the
okay.
minus the opportunity cost. So what's the question here? Oh, yeah, I think I gave you the the definition. You can do this one by yourself. Since it's what about what article imply about the driver's economic profit. I shouldn't tell you before you read the article. I suggest you to read and think of
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of since why I choose this way to hold my office hours. Since I observed, I got this from another TA, a previous TA. When I was in Shoni's class in Micro 2, and she was doing this, and she was doing really great. Since for Shoni, we got a lot of theories, but we don't know how to do her problem sets, and she just help us solve all the complicated questions.
Mhm.
So yeah, so I found this really helpful, and also it impressed me about how the series works. So I think maybe like the telling you, walking you through the process will be really helpful. But for Professor Baker, maybe he's preferring you to spend more time on this, right? He prefer you to read more, to think more, and to discuss more, maybe explore more by yourself.
And
So-
just forget about all the other subjects that we have.
Yeah, so that's maybe why he's not that compatible with me. Yeah. Since you really should have I mean, he's supposing you have a really strong base of the knowledge, right? Strong knowledge base on economics. We should have to, yeah. Carry on. Come on. Question D. Consider the driver working 50 to 60 hours per week to cover his or her automobile lease payments. Would the driver be better off if he or she owns the car outright? So I have to say I don't have an answer to this question, and I don't understand what's outright. What are the outright
It means that like you have an iPhone which costs $1,000. You can either take it on an EMI, on a lease. You pay parts of it, say 100.
Installment, like the installment.
Yeah, installments, or you don't pay installments and just buy the car.
Just buy the car. Okay, I got the idea. Yeah. So will he better off or not? Explain. I think this is controversial. You can choose either side, but you have to provide a reason.
It depends on how much he values his leisure time, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but maybe if from the very beginning, if we assume he's thinking of this question at the very beginning, will he directly buy the car?
I would say he'd be better. Actually,
Yeah, choose your side and maybe give a like the argument.
if he's working that much just to pay off his lease, I would
No, but
say
that's a one-time pay.
don't buy the car.
Don't buy the car; it's too
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
You're right. So
Yeah,
he's better off.
It's better to work with Lyft, right?
He's better off.
He's better.
He's better off with. Oh, he's worse off with directly buying the car, right? You're saying what you are saying.
Well, it seems like he wouldn't be able to.
He will be able to.
So if he really values having a car, then maybe he's better off working.
Yeah, that can be answered.
I think, are we supposed to think about this question considering that if he has the monetary resource to buy a car outright in the first place, considering that he's working?
Yeah, that's also, I think that's very important in analysis, since that's a part of the assumption, right? Before you enter into some like the conclusion, you have to give some assumption, and yeah, that's really quite important, especially in the regression analysis. We have assuming a lot.
Regression.
Yeah, regression will be
Then maybe
a huge topic for your
interaction.
next semester.
No, so we already have regression.
You
right?
already have, yeah, it comes
Yeah,
out of the data
we have
science.
done dummy variables, interaction variables.
Yeah,
When'd you do that?
Huh?
When'd you do that?
Last week?
First data?
Not say art.
Oh, you use R.
you use R. Well, that's cool.
I don't use
I
R.
don't know how to
Now
do
we
R.
have Python also. So we are doing
Python.
Python also.
Okay. So question E. Is the driver covering fixed costs? Is the driver covering variable costs? Draw a graph of the driver's cost curves, including ATC, ABC, MC, and the price line. So this graph actually, I love this. I love this graph since it's quite it's telling you a story about why some people they are profitable in the short run. They are doing the business in the short run, but they are not doing the business in the long run. And that's why it warns you. Maybe you should think more before you really start a business. Yeah, right? Because maybe you find yourself profitable at the beginning, but in the long run, actually, you are losing money. You're just So
I was thinking if like I haven't read the other questions. Have you read the other questions?
which one?
Like because I haven't done them, so I haven't got time to think over it. Should we be
Yeah.
sharing the answers right now? That's what I was thinking.
For the test or what?
For the problem set in general. Like because we have got one more session also, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can stop here. I mean, we can
Yeah,
stop here.
because I
And you
would
can
really
try
want
to
to
do
think
this
over
first.
these
Yeah,
conceptually, or else it would be very easy just to.
yeah. I think you can. Yeah, we can stop here, and I will keep the video as a secret until maybe next.
Yeah, given on next
session.
Thursday probably.
You're right.
so that
Exactly.
we can come with doubts that way.
Yeah, that would be really great if you can spend some time on your own, or maybe with your partner.
Like everybody works on it together.